President Aquino is optimistic of hitting 10 million foreign tourist arrivals by 2016. In a speech at the United Nations World Tourism Organization, ASEAN International Conference on Tourism and Climate Change held in Legazpi City, the president said the country already welcomed 4.68 million international tourists last year, nearly 10% higher than the previous year. At the same time, he urged the international community to work together to best respond to the impacts of climate change on tourism. Ignacio reports.
President Aquino pushed for a more united and focused mechanism to mitigate the effects of climate change. The president said this before the United Nations World Tourism Organization ASEAN International Conference on Tourism and Climate Change held in Legazpi City, Albay Province. The objectives of the international conference are to analyze the impact of climate change on tourism in the Asia-Pacific region, as well as to strengthen the sector's ability to address the threats and challenges of climate change. The president stated how the country rose from the devastation wrought by Super Typhoon Yolanda.
These are alarming realities, and we must start taking action now. Taking on the challenge of climate change necessitates an international effort. We must come up with a more focused and more organized strategy to adapt to the risks it poses. This entails each country revisiting the way they approach every facet of governance to take into account how they affect the environment, from infrastructure to agriculture to energy. Needless to say, one of the sectors deeply concerned with the evolving demands of the new normal is tourism. This is precisely why we are here, joined by some of the most influential figures in the tourism sector, including the Secretary General of the United Nations World Tourism Organization, Dr. Talib Rifai, who is perhaps the world's most important ambassador of tourism as an engine for growth and inclusiveness.
Improving resilience to climate change is a priority for many destinations due to coastal erosion, damage to coral reefs, the infrastructure and property, as well as risk to human life and health.
Climate change is real. It is a threat not simply to our industries or to our economies. It is a grave threat to all our peoples. The sooner we move on a more united front, and the sooner we agree on a systematic, concerted effort to address the problem, the sooner we can make a more profound impact on changing the effects of climate change.
The friendly climate in the region has a big role to attract more tourists. President Aquino said the government will do its best to meet the target of more than 50 million tourist arrivals by 2016.
On top of this, in 2011, we beat our initial 2016 target of 35.5 million domestic travelers, recording 37.5 million in 2011 alone. Allow me to repeat that. We met our target for 2016 5 years ahead of schedule. This pushed us to set our sights higher. Now we have increased our 2016 target to 56.1 million domestic travelers, and we will remain in active pursuit of this target as well.
Discussion also focused on innovation and technology, institutional and capacity building, consumer behavior, and policy reforms. This will result to additional investment, more jobs, and food security.
Of course, we must also address the problem in the long term by striking a productive, sustainable balance as regards our reliance on fossil fuels. We have taken significant steps in this regard. For instance, we have introduced incentives that promote private sector investments in renewable energy projects. This initiative has borne fruit. In fact, I was just in Negros Occidental last week to inaugurate the 22 megawatt San Carlos solar energy plant, the first large-scale commercial solar plant in the country. This is a major step in expanding our country's energy mix and limiting the devastating effects of overdependence on traditional energy sources.
For the People's Television, Ignacio, Legazpi City.